Well, hi, everybody. Hope y'all are doing good today. Take a look outside. Isn't that gorgeous? But let me tell you, if you've not stepped outside today, brace yourself because it is super, super cold. Sunny, but cold. I think it's almost like a perfect winter day. Our first alert weather team's been telling you that this week is going to be exceptionally cold. We had the wind with us yesterday. That was blowing pretty hard this morning, too. That's going to die down just a little bit, but temperatures are not going to improve a whole heck of a lot today. So if you've got to go out and, maybe get some last minute Christmas shopping done or run errands or anything like that, just be prepared. You might need the coat. You probably will, and maybe even if you're like me and your ears get cold, you're going to need earmuffs or maybe even a hat. We are just so glad you're with us today. Good morning, I'm Gervier Denza. We're watching the weather for you today, especially as we get closer to Christmas, which now is less than a week away, and we do have a first alert for that. We'll talk more about that at noon today on Atlanta News First. Right now, we want to get you caught up on some of the stories that are making headlines today, and a big one is healthcare. As we approach the end of the year, probably in November, a lot of you might have had to make your choices for the new year for 2024 in terms of healthcare. But imagine not even having a healthcare facility near you in case something goes wrong. Well, that's what's developing right now. For some of you that live over on the south side of the city of East Point lost its emergency room about a year or so ago. It's now getting ready to lose its urgent care, too. Imagine that. You've got a child that suddenly gets sick or something happens to you and you don't need to go to an ER, but you need an emergency room. They're getting ready to lose their urgent care right now, too. Atlanta News First's Rebecca Schramm has been out talking to residents who live in that area, and she says they are getting very, very worried about the lack of health care for them. Take a listen to what she has to say.
You might remember we were here in May of 2022 when Wellstar closed the emergency room here at Atlanta Medical Center South. Instead, it opened an urgent care clinic. Well, now, in just a few weeks from now, Wellstar is going to close the urgent care location as well. With Wellstar now pulling out of this property completely, it has reignited the conversation about the need for emergency care on the South Side. At a meeting last night, East Point City Council members decided to consider a 180-day moratorium on the property to make sure that it will remain a hospital. Remember, Wellstar also closed Atlanta Medical Center's main campus in downtown Atlanta a few months after closing this one. Both hospitals were losing money. As Wellstar prepares to close this urgent care clinic on the former AMC South property, it's investing $5 million to help bolster a public clinic next door, the Southside Medical Center. They're already transitioning patients who had been seeking help at Wellstar's urgent care when really they need primary and preventive care, which Southside Medical Center already provides. But as for an ER center, here's the general sentiment of people who live here on the South Side.
We have no medical facility here. Urgent care, we don't have that. So if you have an emergency, you got to go across Atlanta, Grady, and that's life or death.
Now, there is an ongoing effort to create a hospital authority
Okay,
between the city of East Point and the city of South Fulton so that they can solicit funds to help run a new hospital here on the South Side. We will let you know what develops there. In East Point, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
So again, we'll be staying on top of that story for you because we know it is such a big issue, especially for those of you on the south side of the city. So stay with us here on Atlanta News First. We'll update you on the air and also online when we get new developments on that story. Unfortunately, we are also following breaking news from earlier today. There were several shootings. Let's begin with the first one. We can tell you that police tell us one person is in custody after An incident overnight. There was a shooting, but there was also a stabbing. This one in northwest Atlanta. This happened in a parking lot along 10th Street. Our crew was out there, and they found out that two men were fighting when one of them was stabbed. They're both going to be okay. Again, one person is in police custody. We don't have a name for a suspect just yet. We are working with authorities to learn that information, and as soon as we get any updates on that, we're going to bring that to you as well. Now to that shooting that we can tell you about. Breaking news right now. A man was found shot. This was inside a gas station in Griffin. He was rushed to the hospital. Unfortunately, he did die from his injuries. Police have identified this man as the suspect. His name is Makion Yates. He was last seen in a black Nissan Altima. He's wanted for malice murder, so if you know where he could be, call Griffin Police. But again, this happened at a gas station, which really should be concerning for all of us, so just be careful when you are out and about. Big news on a major Marvel actor. He's been in trouble before, and again, now we can tell you that actor Jonathan Majors has officially been dropped from his Marvel Studios after being found guilty on 2 charges following a domestic incident with his former girlfriend. So listen to what happened here. So there he is, as you can see, leaving court. And again, his girlfriend had accused him of a domestic incident. And pretty big news there as he was dropped from Marvel. That's huge. This is what a lawyer had to say.
It's really split between the jury saying we don't see intentional assault, we don't see aggravated harassment, but we do see those lesser charges here. We think that he did something criminal that he shouldn't have done.
Majors is set to be sentenced in early February. He is facing up to a year in prison. So we'll be following that story for you as well. That's big news, you know, out of Hollywood. Unfortunately, not the kind of news that you want to hear, but there you go. All right, let's talk about something, because we've been talking about how Christmas is just a week or so away, actually less than a week away. My friend Don Shipman is here this morning. And Don, something we don't even think about when we're thinking about getting together with our family for the holidays, but emergency room visits really skyrocket this time of year, right?
Yeah, there's a big spike in people who have chest pains and stuff like that.
Right.
Maybe they're eating the food that you're not supposed to eat,
Right.
that type of thing.
Maybe tension.
Exactly. And
Maybe some,
I didn't even think about that. You're
Right.
right. There might be some tension too around the dinner
Right.
table. But the thing is, you want to have someone at that dinner table who knows CPR, who's trained in CPR. So
Okay.
I actually talked with a paramedic. I sat in on a class where they learn how to perform CPR properly. It's a 2-hour certification class, and it was kind of eye-opening, I thought. You're seeing video right here of them doing those chest press compressions.
Right, yeah.
And it's a lot harder than it looks.
Okay,
And you're
so-
pushing a lot further down, almost 2 inches.
You know what? So my daughter took a healthcare class. She's interested in going into healthcare. She had to learn CPR. And she would come home, she's like, Mom, this is really hard.
Exactly. So
Because they did have to learn how to do it.
So they have the mannequin or dummy,
Right.
and when you press hard enough, it'll click.
Okay.
And it kind of shows you how far you're supposed to go down. But it is startling when you first do it, but
Right.
it does save lives. So I was looking at some of the statistics, and one of the paramedics said to me that, and I have this number because I really want to make sure I show it here. They say ER visits are up 30% this time.
30%,
Yes.
okay.
So that's a key number right there to keep
Right.
in mind. And then you have a 40% chance you're more likely to live if you are given CPR, if you have cardiac arrest or you
Right.
stop breathing, or you end up using one of those defibrillators.
Right.
If I
Isn't that hard to
correctly. I
say?
hate
Can I
that
tell you that?
word.
That messes me up all the time.
But that's the thing. You couple those two together, it really
Right.
does increase your chances of living.
Right.
And then the ambulance comes.
Right.
And they take you to the hospital, and you walk out of that hospital with a better quality of life.
That's fantastic. And here's a really cool thing. It's not like CPR is it's not like you have to go for a week to learn it,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. It's only a 2-hour course,
2-hour
and there
course.
are a number of free courses that are available. And right now, online on our website and inside the Atlanta News First app, I have links to where you can find where those courses are. Some of them are free, some of them you pay for,
Right.
and that certification lasts 2 years. So
That's fantastic.
if you have someone in your family that's sitting at that dining room table when
Right.
you're having that holiday dinner, someone who is trained in CPR, and God forbid something happens,
Right.
you want to make sure that someone knows CPR and can
That
help.
is really great news. I always love what you're working on. So what you got coming up tomorrow?
Okay, so the deadline to give to a local charity is coming up real quick, and I didn't realize this, but the majority of Americans wait until the last 2 weeks before the end of the year. The end of the year, December 31st,
Okay.
is the deadline in which you can claim on your taxes,
Right.
the deductions for when you give to one of your local charities or
Right.
a number of your local charities.
Okay.
But I talked with a financial advisor about this, an expert who gave me some advice on how to maximize those donations so you can claim on those reductions on your taxes. And one of the things, I'm not going to give it all away, but I'm going
Okay.
to tell you this. He said, don't give.
Really?
But there's a catch.
Oh my
Do you want me to just
gosh.
leave it there like that? But
That's a good tease. Oh my gosh! Because I will admit to you, okay, so it's selfish too,
Yeah.
in a small respect, in that okay, you go through your clothes, you go through things that
Yeah.
that maybe you can't use. This time of year, you've got charities that need financial help. So
Yeah. And a lot of charities are saying too that donations are down. We're talking, we've
Right.
had high inflation. It's better now, but
Right.
throughout the year we've had high inflation,
Right.
and people are really strapped for cash. So what
Yeah.
are they trying to do? They're thinking, do I buy groceries or do I give this year? Maybe I'm not
Right.
going to give this year. So if you can't give this year,
Mm-hmm.
and that financial advisor says maybe you don't,
Okay.
think about what you can do next year. And I'm going to explain how you can really help out next year and help out yourself in the process.
Okay, so you'll be joining us tomorrow morning at 6 on Atlanta News First, and then throughout the morning thereafter. Y'all got to just watch. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Don Shipman. Love
Yep.
ya. You're great. Bundle up. Are you going out Christmas shopping or anything today?
I do. I still got to get the stocking stuffers.
Okay.
And yeah, winter jacket is necessary.
All right. Yes, it is. Hey, thank you so much. Stay tuned for Atlanta News First at noon today. We'll update you on the weather. Let's leave you with a look at what's happening out there. How about that? Instead of looking at Don and me, right? There you go. It looks gorgeous, but like Don said, bundle up and make it a good day.